Welcome back to FM Storey. We're into the run-in for Season 1 of the Beta Save with Manchester United. We are currently sitting in third place. We're 4 points behind Man City at the top. We're 2 points behind Liverpool in second. And we're 3 points clear of Tottenham in third. Most importantly though, given that the season expectation was to finish in the top 4 and qualify for the Champions League, we are 5 points clear of Arsenal in third place. So hopefully we can finish the season off and finish that top 4. We do have 7 games left to go. We're out of all the cup competitions, so there's no distractions. And hopefully we can pick up the results we need to meet that expectation. So without further ado, let's get into the act. So we've made it to the final day of the league season, and the season objective of qualifying for the Champions League is coming down to the very last game of the season. Obviously, Man City have already won the title, Liverpool are already safe in second, but you've got us in third on 77 points, Arsenal in fourth on 75 points, and Tottenham in fifth on 75 points. Looking at the difference in goal difference between ourselves and Tottenham, it looks as though effectively a draw in our last game of the season would guarantee us finishing in the top 4, which, given our run of form since the last episode, might be a bit of a tough ask, although we are playing a team who have absolutely nothing to play for. So we ended the last episode with the game away at Chelsea. We started off after that pretty well. We pretty comfortable 2-0 victory over Nottingham Forest. We then went to Burnley and were comfortable for the first hour, and then they scored 2 goals in 5 minutes to turn the game around, and we just couldn't react. We did react well with a game against Bournemouth where we hammered them 6-0. But then at home to Aston Villa, just could not create anything at all and ended up drawing 0-0. Against Fulham, we created loads of chances, just couldn't take them, and they got a late header that we couldn't react to as well. But in the most recent game, we went into the game against Brighton. We were the early kick-off that day as well, so the pressure to really put a performance on the board, get the 3 points and put the pressure on everyone else. And we came away with a 4-0 victory. We weren't great in the first half, but we did turn it around in the second half. And as we can see, we finished the season with Brentford, who, as we said, don't have anything to play for. They're 13th, they're safe. So we're away at Brentford. Arsenal are away at Luton, who have already been relegated. And Tottenham are away at Fulham, who also have nothing to play for. So going into the game, if we can pick up a point, we should be safe because of the goal difference. It is interesting looking at how everyone else has done. I mean, you'd expect Man City and Liverpool to be at the top. Newcastle struggling down in 7th. They've lost 12 games this season. Brighton also lost 12 games this season, down in 6th. But Chelsea down in 10th. Obviously, nothing's really... I mean, they've drawn 13 games this season. Maybe it's the lack of goals that plagued the start in real life at the start of the season has carried over into FM here. And then there's still potentially 3 teams can go down. It looks as though Burnley, Forest and Sheffield United can all still go down. But Forest and Burnley are playing each other. So that'll be I think basically looking at the goal difference, if Forest and Burnley draw, that's them both safe. Sheffield United are home to Chelsea. They would need to put in a big performance to stay up. But for now, all focus is on not losing this game away at Brentford. So this is the side we're trusting to get the Champions League spot secured. It's pretty much the same team that started the last game. The one change we've had to make is that Rafa Varane, who had a bit of a knock, had to come back into the team. Antonio Silva's injured. We have made one change on the bench in that Garnacho is now fitting to play 45 minutes after breaking his leg December. He's come onto the bench in the place of Anthony Martial because Martial decided that the morning of the last game of the season, where we are fighting to secure a Champions League spot, was the best place to hand in a transfer request because he fancies a new challenge. So no point having him in the squad. I mean, looking at that Burnley team, obviously with Maupay up front, they might be struggling to concede goals. They did sell Ivan Toney in January, and they sold him to Man City, which I think is probably the reason for Julian Alvarez being transfer listed at Man City, which enabled us to pick him up for well less than half of what Man City paid for Ivan Toney. So hopefully we can put in a performance, because since the Chelsea game we've been very hot and cold, and we were particularly hot in the last game, so hopefully we're not having a down performance in this one. Nothing happening early on. And no goals in the Tottenham or Arsenal game. Very quiet first half in this one. Right, so they bring it forward, and Bournemouth to Jensen, Maupay into Silvi's through. And Onana's turned it over for a corner. That was far too easy for him to get in there. Onana comes and claims the corner. Calm everyone down now. I mean, so far it is exactly what we need. A draw will secure us the spot, but the one highlight was them cutting us open and racing through the middle. We just need to be a lot better. Right, we've sent the same team out to start the second half, although it looks like we're going to need to make a change in the defence shortly. Arsenal missed a penalty for half time, by the looks of it. Right, so coming up on 65 minutes, Tottenham and Arsenal both drawing 0-0. It's enough at the moment for us to, I mean, as long as we don't lose, we should be safe anyway. Right, we made a change at both fullbacks just to bring some fresh legs on in the wide areas. Arsenal have now taken the lead. Right, Martinez, Højlund crossing. Alvarez. Oh! How did that not go in? Actually, we made another change. We brought Garnacho on, get him some minutes, and also hopefully have a bit of a spark to make it a bit more secure with a goal for us. Tottenham and Arsenal are both leading now, so all three teams are on 78 points there. So the absolute last thing we can afford to do is concede a goal now. And right on cue. Oh. Varane brings it out to Wan-Bissaka. Arda into Rashford. Martinez. Arda to Rashford again. I'm doing well keeping the ball here. We're not really progressing it that much. Varane to Wan-Bissaka. Casemiro. Højlund, Rashford. Oh. Goes behind for a corner. Hard to take it. Looks at the edge of the box. Luckily, they've hammered it upfield without anyone there. We need to put a tackle in here somewhere. No. No. Oh! Garnacho over the top. Where's it? Højlund with a bad first touch. Luckily, they've given it away. Martinez puts it in the crowd. Well, it's safe to say we've made hard work of qualifying for the Champions League. After the start of the season we've had, and even where we were at the end of the last episode, we were in a pretty strong position. we've tried to throw it away with the hot and cold form, and in the end, we've, I think, sneaked third on goal difference. Third, fourth, fifth, all having the same point. But we've made it to the Champions League. I mean, I think there's some work needs to be done on the squad over the summer. But I think a fairly successful first season. I mean, the aim was to qualify for the Champions League. That was the season objective for the Carabao Cup along the way as well. Now we just need to improve on that for next season. It's now time for the end season review. As we can see there, we've picked up the Carabao Cup. In terms of the new arrivals, the star new arrival was Mason Mount. I mean, in terms of our arrivals, we signed Antonio Silva, we signed Julian Alvarez, and then we brought players in on loan who didn't really set the world alight. We do have options to sign Cabral and Diaz on permanent deals, but I don't think either of them have really shown anything to suggest that we should be signing any of those players. So in terms of the expectation for the league season, it was to qualify for the Champions League. We finished third, we qualified for the Champions League. It was a bit tight on the last day of the season there. I mean, we started the season so well. We didn't lose a game until the 16th of December when we played Arsenal. And then we put together another decent run in January and early February. Middle of February to the middle of March, we really didn't do particularly well, losing to Tottenham, losing to Liverpool, drawing with Arsenal. We drew twice with Luton. I mean, we drew 1-1 in both the home game and the away game with Luton, and they finished 19th with 19 points. I mean, that's not really good enough. And then, obviously, we ended the last episode of the Chelsea game where we picked up a bit of form, and then in this episode, it's been hit and miss. Win, loss, win, draw, loss, win, draw. We've not really put together a run of good games back to back. Champions League, they want us to be competitive. We reached the round of 16. We started like a house on fire. We won the first 3 games. We had 9 points after 3 games. And then we picked up 1 point in the rest of the group stage. And that was on the last day against Braga, which just about saw us sneak out Sevilla on the head-to-head. And then obviously we drew PSG in the round of 16. And just, we were missing key players at that point. We were missing Rashford, we were missing Fernandes, we were missing Garnacho, who'd all started the season outstanding. So I think we did okay in the Champions League this season. Obviously, it was the last season with the group stages. Next season, it starts with the league phase, so we'll have more Champions League matches to come. FA Cup was just an abomination. We were supposed to reach the latter stages of it. We got knocked out in the first game. And what's more, we didn't even pick a rotated team in that card game. We picked a pretty strong team and lost 3-2. And then obviously the Carabao Cup, they weren't considering it a priority. They wanted us to be competitive, and we went and won the thing. I mean, at least it was a trophy. Moments of the season, biggest win, 6-0 in April against Bournemouth. That was one of the few games we managed to put together in this episode where we played decent. Match to remember was the game at home to Liverpool. It was a really strong performance. And our goal of the season came from one of the 1-1 draws with Luton. A free kick from outside the box from Bruno Fernandes, which brought us back on level terms after conceding the first goal against them. Finances all seem to be up. Nothing changing in terms of the reputation. Everything as you would probably expect there. And how we lined up, we did largely line up with the 4-2-3-1. Interesting that this is the best 11 with Brahim Diaz in that number 10 role and not Bruno Fernandes, and Jadon Sancho up wide right and not Garnacho. I don't know quite how that works. And obviously Casemiro played more on the right and Mount on the left. But there are certain areas that we need to strengthen in the transfer window. We have already done a deal to bring in Rooney Bargi as a wide player. I think with having signed Alvarez, with Garnacho back, with Fernandes hopefully back soon, I think that probably provides us with enough options up front. We possibly maybe need another out-and-out striker, although Alvarez can play there as well. We are looking at, we're in the middle of trying to do a deal to sign Giorgio Scalvini, play centre-half. I think long-term, him alongside Antonio Silva will be a good fit. We perhaps need some more options in the defensive midfield role and at left back. Defensive midfield role in particular, because obviously Amrabat would have been someone who we would have probably wanted to keep on, but he signed a new contract fairly early on in the season with Fiorentina, and there was no option in the deal anyway, so he's going back to Fiorentina. So we could potentially do with someone in there, potentially someone like João Neves from Benfica, if we can get the money right for that. Obviously, we're going to need to move some players on. We have some players that we are desperate to get rid of, and there are a couple of players like Varane, who's now 30, 31, who during the season attracted interest from Saudi Arabia and Qatar. So if there's a ridiculous offer comes in for him, then we may just cash in and use the money to strengthen the rest of the squad. As far as accolades are concerned, I did pick up Manager of the Month, September, October. Marcus Rashford was the Fans Player of the Season, Hoyland the Young Player of the Season. Marcus Rashford, 27 goals, 13 assists, 11 man of the matches. Just outstanding as far as the team was concerned. Far and away the best player we had. And was the only one of our players to make it into the Premier League Team of the Season as well. And there we have it. Season 1 with Man United over and done with. We met the objective of qualifying for the Champions League. We've won the Carabao Cup. Overall, pretty successful season, especially when you consider how long Bruno Fernandes was missing, Garnacho was missing after how we started, how many times Marcus Rashford was missing as well. I think finishing third with the players we had was a pretty decent. We do, though, definitely need to strengthen the squad in the summer. So join us next time, find out what moves we make in the transfer window, and see how we get on with the start of season 2. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you then.